get my ass whooped because I got a grade 6 math test tomorrow. But just watch the last video for the recap of how much money we made. Actually, specifically, we did profit last week, but let's get right on into this card. So first we have. I'm gonna be honest. This card is pretty shit. And as always, picks are what you should put money on. Predictions are just what I think will happen. And like I've said before, I've made a significant amount of money doing this. So we'll start off with Simon Oliveira versus Luan Lacerda. I'm gonna pick Luan Lacerda. He's just not a fucking bitch like Simon Oliveira. And he's younger and he's got a similar frame. He's actually taller and slightly less long, but he's gonna be longer. I feel like it seems like. Yeah, I think he'll just keep him at range, and Simon Oliveira is just gonna exist until he gets finished, which he might not, but he a fucking bitch anyways. Regardless, I think this is Luan Lacerda's fight. Let's pick him money line, and I'm gonna predict that he knocks his ass out against the cage. And next we have our fucking main event, Julia Pilastri versus Carolina, whatever the fuck. I'm gonna go with Julia Pilastri because Carolina, fucking Polish woman, is just incredibly washed at this point. Like her last two performances, it really felt like she was slowing down. Julia Pilastri's young and she's hungry. It's a strawweight fight. The smaller you are, the worse you are, the older you get. Julia Pilastri, Carolina, I don't think she's very easy to finish, so it might be just a pitter-patter decision. So I'm just gonna go with Julia Pilastri by decision. Next we have Walter Walker versus Muhammad Usman. I'm gonna go with Walter Walker. Muhammad Usman's not that good. You expect Muhammad Usman to be good just because of his last name, and somehow Walter Walker is better because of his last name. But I do think Muhammad Usman might be like super duper aware of the fact that he will get heel hooked. So I do think Muhammad Usman might be like really tentative about that and just get knocked the fuck out by a big overhand by this fucking large Brazilian man. But we'll see. So I'm just gonna go with, let's just say, Walter Walker money line. I feel like that's the safe bet against Muhammad Usman. Muhammad Usman, I mean, he's not as good as Kennedy and Nzechukwu. That's the difference. And Walter Walker made him look like he wasn't a light heavyweight before. Muhammad Usman, he beat, what's his name, Hamdi Abdelwahab. Like, what else do you want me to say? That's all he has on his record. So we have Walter Walker money line. I'm gonna predict he heel hooks him though. We have Lucas Rocha versus Stuart Nickel. Two pretty solid flyweights. I'm just not gonna pick because this is really close in my opinion. Stuart Nickel, I don't even remember who the fuck these guys lost to, but I know they lost to, like, they both each lost to like relatively good competition. Flyweight, super duper unranked fight. Don't care all that much. Might not even be watching. Now this is my main event: Beatrice Mosquito versus Irina Alexieva. We're gonna go with Beatrice Mosquito because Irina Alexieva is like the bottom of the barrel in terms of talent, whereas Beatrice Mosquito seems like an actually good submission artist. I do think she is, like, she probably does have hands relatively because she's 5-0. She probably has the ability to put, impose her will to some extent. Irina Alexieva, I don't know if she does, besides the fact that she might be a little craftier than Mosquito. But I'm just gonna go with Beatrice Mosquito money line. I'm going to predict that she subs Irina Alexieva, let's say in the second round, though. Okay, Vitor Petrino versus Thomas Peterson. I think this is a pretty easy fight to pick. I'm going to say Vitor Petrino, let's say by early victory. I think he has the ability to knock out time. Actually, no, Thomas Peterson went to a decision with that one guy. I forget his name, but his last fight, I think. Nick Parkin, was it? Might have been, I don't remember, but he wasn't even close to getting like finished. So I do think Thomas Peterson does have really good like durability, and he has the ability to make it boring to where he won't get finished. So I'm just gonna say Vitor Petrino money line. against Thomas Peterson. If you want, you can do early victory, because Vitor Petrino does have the ability to submit, and he does have the ability to just crack on the feet. And he lost to Anthony Smith, but he slipped on a banana peel, and then got caught in a really tight guillotine. That's all that happened. So that happens to everyone. Clayton Carpenter versus Jafel Filho, pretty difficult fight to predict. Clayton Carpenter is he's really good. He's got a really tough pressure wrestling. His submission game is okay. He can grapple, but Jafel Filho was he's a really good submission artist. He almost took out Muhammad Makayev before he got subbed. But Jafel Filho, really good submission artist, and he's really good on the feet compared to Clayton Carpenter, who just sets up his stand-up for a takedown. I like Clayton Carpenter a lot more, and I think he'll win this one. But don't be surprised if Jafel Filho just subs him or just pitter-patters a decision. So I'm not going to have a pick for this. But I will say Clayton Carpenter by decision as my prediction. And next we have Lucas Almeida versus Michael Aswell. I'm not going to have a pick for this either. Call me a fence sitter, but I don't think I could ever, under clear conscience, pick Michael Aswell because he's not UFC level. Nor can I pick Lucas Almeida because he's just shit. So yeah, I don't know why this is so high up because these guys are such low-level fighters. But, I mean, it is what it is. We'll see probably a really, really shitty, botched, low-level swinging hooks, kickboxing match. And I'm not going to have a pick for this because it's actually a pretty even fight just because they're both complete shit. And so is this one. Ricardo Ramos versus Con Offley. I don't have a pick for this one. Simply just don't have a pick for this one. Con Offley, okay. Ricardo Ramos, good fight with Balaji Oki. Balaji Oki's good, but he just lost to Colby Thickness. And Colby Thickness schooled him in the grappling. And Balaji Oki ain't that good, so I don't even know who to pick because these are two pretty low-level fighters. I'm going to predict Ricardo Ramos by decision, though, because I don't think Con Offley is actually that good. Ricardo Ramos has at least the ability to, impose his will and go forward and, know when he's losing and he's going to shift up a gear, right? In my opinion, at least. Next, we have Janata Deniz versus Mario Pinto. I'm going to go with Mario Pinto. And Janata Deniz, he's a really good stand-up artist. I do think Glory Kickboxing is always a factor for being insane at the stand-up for any fighter. And I do think Mario Pinto, he's slightly longer, but I do think his grappling is going to be a big factor because Janata Deniz might be setting up this camp to, defend takedowns, but I guarantee you he's going to be very aware of the takedown threat if Mario Pinto actually fights like a fucking smart person and decides to go for a takedown at least, just to keep it in his mind, Janata Deniz's mind. And I think Mario Pinto might actually just jab him up at range because he's a little longer, a little taller. Janata Deniz, good stand-up, but he's got nothing for the ground. And I guarantee you if he's on the ground, Mario Pinto is going to just keep him there. And he might just ground and pound his fucking face in. But I will say Mario Pinto. Let's say decision because I feel like that's gonna be pretty good money. He might sub him, but I do think Mario Pinto does make easy work of Janata Deniz just by the fact that Janata Deniz got fucked up by Marcin Tybura, who we found out is actually not that good in the stand-up recently. So yeah, Mario Pinto decision. And next we have Vicente Luque versus Joel Alvarez. I don't think I need to explain this any further, but let's say Joel Alvarez by first round finish. He can sub him, he can knock him out, he can really make Vicente Luque What does Vicente Luque have for Joel Alvarez? He's got good power, somewhat good power. He has the ability to roll for a Darce or an Anaconda. But I don't think Joel Alvarez, that'll happen to him because he's significantly taller. And I don't think Vicente Luque really has it in him to really grit down and throw an overhand at Joel Alvarez in the same way that Joel Alvarez can do it to Luque. So let's just say Joel Alvarez by first round finish. I'm going to say he knocks Vicente Luque out. Don't be surprised if he hits him with a Darce on his way up. Figueiredo versus Montel Jackson. As much as I want to say Figueiredo wins this, I don't think he does. I think Montel Jackson, well, obviously he's significantly younger, he's taller, he's longer. And Figueiredo, at this point in his career, he's got not very much going for him. He looked like shit in the Sandhagen fight. And we may say, oh, Sandhagen looked good in the Merab fight. But he did not. But Sandhagen did not use any of his skills that he used against Figueiredo against Merab, right? Jackson is a good grappler and he's got great power. I don't think he has the power to knock out Davis and Figueiredo. Figueiredo, he got TKO'd on the ground just off being injured, right? Whereas Montel Jackson, I don't think he'll shut his lights out in a punch. We might be able to drop him. I think this will go to a decision, so I'm gonna say Montel Jackson by decision. Davison Figueiredo, all he has right now is throwing big hooks and overhands because he's just got huge power for the division. But I don't think he'll get caught. Montel Jackson will get caught. Montel Jackson's a smart fighter. He fucked up Blackshear in a minute. And I think Jackson is top 5 worthy. I think he is a very good prospect in the bantamweight division. So yeah, and I don't think he'll get subbed. I don't think Figueiredo's gonna get subbed. He's a good enough jiu-jitsu artist. So let's just say Montel Jackson by decision. And now we have the main event: Charles Oliveira versus Mateusz Gamrot. I'm gonna say Charles Oliveira money line. And here's why. I don't think Mateusz Gamrot has anything for Charles Oliveira. Oliveira is a very good submission artist. He's great at grappling. He's got a bad chin at this moment, but he never had a good chin, really. Gamrot doesn't have any power in his hands. Charles Oliveira had a split decision, close fight with Arman Tsarukyan, and really had him in trouble in moments. And Arman Tsarukyan is a way better fighter than Mateusz Gamrot. The only reason why the odds are this close is because he just came off of a knockout by fucking Ilia Topuria. But look what happened to Max Holloway and Volkanovski. They all came back with great wins after they got knocked out by Topuria. I think this is a step I think this is a step in his career where I think he will have one more fight in him after winning this, maybe with a Max Holloway, and then he retires. But yeah, Charles Oliveira, I don't think Mateusz Gamrot has anything for Charles. They're both actually pretty chinny. Gamrot was getting dropped by fucking Ludovic Klein's jabs, right? They're both chinny, but one of them has power in Oliveira's hands. And Oliveira's got better stand-up. I don't think Gamrot's stand-up's actually that bad. He got robbed by Dan Hooker, who's a pretty good stand-up artist. But Charles Oliveira beat fucking Dustin Poirier, who's better than Hooker. So what the fuck are we saying? I don't think Charles Oliveira, his speed might have gone down, his power might have gone down, his skills are still there. And I don't think he's as bad as Gamrot. So I'm going to say Charles Oliveira money line. And I'm going to predict that Charles Oliveira, let's just say Charles Oliveira by decision.